Hi guys, this is a video tutorial for how to make drawings in SolidWorks 2012. You may be required in your field of work or for your courseworks to produce drawings. There are a couple of ways of doing it. In old days, people used to create drawings from scratch. So just on a piece of paper, they used to draw using pencil and some manual instruments. After that, things change over to computer designing, where people were designing using these CAD packages, so everything was electronic data. Nowadays things have changed even further, so we go from 3D drawing. So we using all of these features, we create a 3D part and we export that back into back into the drawing environment. If you remember this this welcome street, so every time you open a new document in SolidWorks, it gives you three choices. So generally, well, this is where we went so far, and we tried assembling things. To model 3D parts, you would go here, that's the assembly, and then this is where you generally want to go if you are creating a drawing. So if I were to select and OK that, there are a couple of things we need to be very careful of. First of all, obviously it's not a deal breaker. You can always go back and you can change things. For instance, the sheet format size window that pops up after you open a new drawing file, it gives you an opportunity to select a drawing standard and a sheet size basically. So if I were to go with, there are so many different types. You can Google for all of these what they meant. But if I the one I want to go ahead with is the A3 ISO. As you can see, there are BSI and say GB. There are so many other types as well. So the one I want to go ahead with is the A3 ISO. If I OK that, this gives me some sort of out of the box sheet layout. On the left hand side, where generally we have the feature manager, we have a model view window which is prompting us to select a part which we can bring in our into our 2D drawing environment. Since that's the part I made earlier, SolidWorks detected that and it's prompting me to bring that in, but I'm going to ignore that for the time being. Let's talk about this piece of paper here first of all. What we see here in drawing environment, there is some sort of a layered approach. So on the left hand side we see the sheet. The sheet's got a sheet format which are these gray lines. So the title block, all of this information about the drawing is contained. Do I want to change? I don't think I want to. So everything is contained within the space here. It's all grayed out and all of that is contained on the sheet format. So it's actually the underlay we are working on. So first of all, there is this piece of paper which is A3 sized, and there is a mask on top of that which is this particular sheet format. And what you do after this, you're gonna have entries on the left hand side. So you may have multiple views for multiple parts, and you can see them here as entry, and you can edit them just as you would in a part environment. So you can see all of your workings on the left hand side. First step generally is to, I mean, this is you will have to do it only once. If you're working for a company, there might be standard sheet format which you use. For your coursework at UWE, you need to create your own sheet formats. I have created an example one which I'll show you in a second. So for you to be able to, let's zoom in this area. So there is loads of information here which is useful. There can be information, for instance, you may want to get rid of some of these. Maybe not all of that is relevant to the work you're doing. So you, in order to be able to change this, at the moment it is grayed out, so I can't select any of these and I can't make any changes. So if I go over here, right click sheet format, I can go edit sheet format, and as I said, you need to do it only once. You create a standard for your project, for your company, and you basically stick to it. So I'm gonna go edit sheet format, and everything turns blue now, and now I'm in the edit mode. So I can delete the entities which are not needed. For instance, I don't think I want to see any of these, etc, etc. So I can change this. I can delete the lines, or I can if I wanted, I can change this this text by double clicking that, which will take me into the edit mode. This is where I change the font size. Generally, font size of 2mm or over is better. It's more ergonomic than something small, really. So I tend to go to font size 8 at least, which gives me the correct one roughly. So this is how we change things. You can double click and you can edit the dialog, you can edit the formatting, you can relocate, or you can reposition this by just dragging, and you can make it look nice and pretty. Everything's nicely centered, so on and so forth. So if I can show you very quickly what I created earlier, you can, if you wanted to, you can import a company logo. So if I had, for instance, a company logo, I will go into insert, picture, and I will bring in a logo. As you can see here, it's at the moment it's massive, so I can resize that. It's all very intuitional. You don't need to worry about finding the commands. It all comes with these boxes here, so I can resize them. I can reposition this logo wherever it needs to go, etc, etc. For instance, I wanted to bring in, I can confirm that, and then you may think, oh, that's fixed. Now it's not. You can double click that. You can always go back in the edit mode, and you can once again relocate this. So if I commit to that, there is another image I wanted to bring in, and this one was for the third angle icon, which is this. I'm sure you remember this from our lessons. And let's say, for instance, I wanted to include that into my title block somewhere here. So I do agree, it takes some time to get it all in there, to adjust, to make all of these small changes. But once you do it, you don't need to do it over and over again. It's kind of there for everyone to use. So I suggest spend some time in making it look nice and tidy. If you are looking on advice on what to include in this title block, you can Google for what British Standard recommends, or you can go on Blackboard and you can refer to our notes from semester 1. And these are some of the examples which are needed on the title block. It's not necessary. This is not the absolute limit. You may have to change the title block as and when you go. So just another example. This keeps coming, so I'm gonna go, don't show this message again, thank you very much. At this is the assembly one. We'll talk about the assembly drawings later on, but just to give you an idea of what title block looks like, there is one here now. Right, taking it a step further, if I wanted to come out the sheet format mode, I'm sure you saw that, you hit this icon and that's going to take you out of the editing sheet format, and you can do the general drawing operations over here at this layer. I was talking about the sheet format I made earlier, so tell you what, I'm going to use that instead of creating a new one. So if I can, once you save your sheet format, you can save it anywhere, wherever you like to save it. If I go right click properties, and I'm pretty sure it will allow me to, from here, browse into, these are the other sheet formats available. As you can see, by default it goes into the database on SolidWorks on your local drive. So I want to locate the sheet format I created earlier, the one with ISO, A3 ISO with UE logo. If I open that, it should change the existing one, and this is the one I created earlier. So this is what I would like to see. Paper size, scale, dimension note, an icon for the third angle system, a title of the part, your team name, your project name, date, and the UV logo. I will upload a link to my box file into the description of this video, so you are more than welcome to download this particular sheet format and use it as an inspiration. You can look at it. If you want, you can use this as it is, but as long as you know how to create and edit sheet formats, I'm fine with that. So as I said, I'll paste the link for this file into the description of this video. So if you're watching this on Blackboard, you may have to go over to YouTube and look at the description of this video. You may notice a link there to download this file. All you have to do after that is bring in your parts and align them, or position them nicely on this piece of paper. So that's one very important step sorted. Secondly, I suggest you check a couple of things before you go into modeling straight away. First of all, right click sheet format, go into properties, and make sure you are in the correct projection system. You're not in the first angle system. I want you guys to work in the third angle system. So that's there. Second thing, units, which is millimeters gram second. As you can see here, it's a very quick way of toggling the units to the correct type. I'm going to go ahead with that. So that's that. Over here in options, and if you're looking for things, if you're looking for small little things, they are generally so anything to do with the way SolidWorks gives you certain appearances, or you want to change the document font or dimension font, etc., etc. You may want to go in here. These are the system options. If you go into document properties, the first option, which is shown by default, it is for the drafting standards, and I want you guys to toggle that to ISO. And what this does is these are basically themes of drafting. So based on whichever scheme you are in, you get all of these change. The one I have realized, which is very near to the British standards 8888, is the ISO system. So if I can toggle mine to ISO, and that should give me most of the options, which are generally here, what sort of arrows I want, what sort of annotations. So most of this is actually exactly the same as what's demanded in what's recommended in British standards. For instance, what I would like to see is a small gap after the dimension. So so this gap here, a certain arrow type, we can specify the height and the width of the arrows here, etc., etc. You got center lines, there is that option as well. So on and so forth. If you wanted to, we are happy with the units, there is somewhere where we can change the font of the system. I'm going to go ahead with this. Well, let's make sure it's 3.5. So British standards recommend you shouldn't use anything smaller than 3 millimeter. So if you want, you can use that, or you can go into points, and at the moment you are at 13 point, and if you can bump up that font to something higher. So you have to make these changes as you go, but I'm just showing you where these can be found. If I OK that now, and as I said, this is where you are generally going to be visiting if you want to change anything to do with the appearance of your drafting. If I come out of this, as I said, a couple of things, just to summarize what happened so far. We managed to open a new drawing file, look at the sheet format, make some changes to it, save the sheet format. Actually, I forgot to show you how to save the sheet format. So once you make all of these changes, so for instance, you choose yourself a drafting standard, you create yourself a third angle projection, you make sure the system is third angle, you change the units, you get yourself a nice looking title block. I think it's a good idea to save this sheet at this point. So I'm going to go over in file, and then if you go save sheet format, and over here you can just type in whatever name you want to give it, and you can specify the location, and you can save this sheet format. And then every time you open the file, you may be presented with an opportunity to go back to the same sheet format, or you can get something which is out of the box and make changes again. The idea is changing it once and using it over and over again for your coursework. So that's that. I've shown you where to find the small little things. If I can show you the quick, well, there are a couple of ways of importing drawing in your drafting view. So I think there should be one in here. There isn't. Well, this becomes active when we throw drawing from the part environment. So if I can bring that one in. So this is the part I made earlier, something very simple, very basic, just to quickly show you the steps. Well, this was extruded sideways. That's our sketch with some imaginary dimensions. Couple of, let's push that after the sketch. So a couple of cuts looking at it from the top, and maybe a fillet to make it to get rid of the sharp edges. So this is the part I want to throw over to the drawing environment, and I want to see how we can create an engineering drawing from this. If I can go back into, well, as I said, there are a couple of choices. We can go here and we can go make drawing from part. So that's one way of exporting this into the drawing environment. Or we can go in standard 3 view, or we can go into model view. If I go in model view, if it is not there, if you don't see your part, you may have to go browse, locate the part, and bring that in. So at the moment you are looking at the front view. If you remember this from last semester, that's your front view, that's your right hand side view, isometric. So all of these icons are very intuitive. You don't need to worry too much about this. So at the moment we have selected the front view, and I think I want my front view to be here in this location. Don't worry, we can change it later on, and I'm simply moving my cursor over to whichever view I'm after, basically. So if I say, well, that's my bottom view and that's my right hand side view, and then I would like to have an isometric view, but that doesn't look very good, so I'm going to go with this sort of isometric view. No, doesn't really matter if it is out of the sheet, we can always bring it back. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to bring in the top view instead of the bottom view. So escape to come out of this dialog, and then I don't think I want this view, so I'm gonna select and delete that from the keyboard. I may want to, as you can see, there is a link. These are nicely linked, so you can't move these sideways, you can only move these up and down. So the right hand side view is fixed with the front view. You can't move it up or down, you can only bring it closer to the front view. And the isometric view, it's pretty much mobile. You can place it wherever you need. It's a good idea to present these 3 views at least, and an isometric view for it just makes things really easy for people. Can look at the drawing, they can get the dimensions from here, and they can look at this pictorial view, and they all of a sudden they know what it is they are dealing with. So this was one way of bringing your drawings in. So if I can control that out of it, there is a quick way, which is I don't really prefer this, but it's here. So you go standard 3 view, you select the file, you click OK, and it spits out three views for you. It's not really my favorite because it doesn't give us much control, so I'm gonna stick to this particular one. Model view, locate the part. Let's bring in the part again. Okay, so as I said earlier, I'm gonna go with the front view here, my top view over here, right hand side view here, and then isometric view somewhere over here in the space. And as you know, we can reposition these as and when needed. So this was the maybe the third most important step, to bring in the views and bring in the appropriate views, not just any random views. Bring in something which is doing justice to your drawing, which is most important to your to communicate all the ideas and all the dimensions about the part. So once we are here, as you can see, we have few drawing views here. We have 1, 2, 3. These are for the front, and as I move my cursor over it, it makes itself visible. So if you wanted to make any changes, you would do that from here. There are few things I want to tweak. So as you can see, this is the front view, that's the top view, but there are a few details missing here. I was hoping to see this cutout here, which runs from the top surface to the bottom. I was hoping to see a couple of hidden details, so dashed lines, so they are missing from this particular view. So I wonder if I can select this view, and on the left hand side from the display style we have a few choices. This is very important space, by the way. You may change the scale of just one view and not the other, and so if you are looking for that, if you're dealing with something massive and you may need to scale it, this is the place you need to visit. To tweak the display style, you have well, you got a couple of options here. Wireframe, you got hidden details displayed. As you can see, my hidden details are displayed, and this is the one I wanted. If you go with visible edges only, that's that, but that doesn't convey all the information. You can go with one of this. You can go with the shaded where you remove the edges. So the one I am after today is the one with the hidden details displayed, because this is the one which is recommended in British standards. At the same time, I don't think I want to see the hidden details in the isometric view, so I'm going to select that. I'm going to change that into a solid view there, or maybe let's keep a nice and uniform theme here. So I would like to see the visible edges only and none of the hidden details displayed. So that's step number one. Once you bring in your views, making sure you have the correct view, details shown using the display style editor. Secondly, there is something going on here. There is, well, I only wanted to see just one of these lines. So I don't know why the other one is. I think it's because there is this fillet, and SolidWorks has marked the start of the fillet and the end of the fillet. So as you go from there to there, it gives you two details. You may be confused, which will basically, you don't really want to see two dashed lines there. You just want to see if there is an edge, a sharp edge, you want to see the detail. Otherwise you don't want to see anything at all. So there is an option for that. You can go right click that, and in tangent edge, you can make the tangent edges remove. And once you remove that, as you can see, we had double lines there. They are gone. Let's see if it works for this one. Tangent edges removed, and we can only see the hidden detail for this face now. So this will simplify the drawing. Sometimes it's a good idea to remove the tangent. It just makes it very noisy otherwise. So that's much easy to read. We can see the fillets here. There is something else missing. For instance, we have the center mark. I'm going to confirm that. By the way, if you want to pan your screen, it's the middle mouse button, just as in SolidWorks part environment. Scroll wheel to zoom in and zoom out. And all the commands are basically exactly the same. The way you maneuver in part environment, they are more or less the same. Only thing you can't really do is rotate your model, because it's all very flat. So we have well, this looks complete, to be honest, because we have the center mark here, we have the hidden detail, we have the visible edges, and this is the part, and that looks like the correct representation. What I'm worried about is I don't see this detail as a center. I'm missing a center line from this view and missing a center line from this. So if I can go in annotation over here. So let's delete this center mark for fun, and let's see if we can bring it back. So I'm gonna add some center marks. If I select that, you can go for all the holes. Oh, this was done as a cutout and not as a hole. So yeah, I'm not surprised it didn't do it. So if I select the center manually, it will apply. Sorry, if I select a circle manually, it will employ the center mark there, and I'm happy with that. Center line, if I can select the width of the cylinder, it gives me a nice looking center line there. Once again, over here, if I can select the width of the cylinder, that gives me a center line at that point. So I'll be looking at things like these. Next up is how do we dimension these things. You can go in annotation, smart dimension, and you can select the edges. You like to display the distance, and for instance I want it to be that 140. That's fine there. I wanted to use this 110 over here. I just need to check one thing, whether I'm not, well, there is a gap there, isn't it? Oh, there is a gap there. The reason we don't see a gap here, because it's a fillet, and I think we are zeroing in on that. Yeah, well, there is a gap. Yep, I just confused myself there a little bit. Right, so just making sure that there is a small gap between where the projector starts and the actual visible edge. So we have the length, we have the height here. I'm going to use the other view So for instance, I can use this view here to specify the height. And I'm just making sure that we are on the same level, so we're just making it tidy, just keeping it very uniform, making it look very professional. So that's that. If I wanted, I can go ahead and dimension the circle. From here, there is one rule in British standards that you don't dimension the hidden details, so make sure you are not doing something, for instance that's not allowed. You can't do that. So I'm gonna dimension the hidden detail here, sorry, the visible circle here. I can dimension the spacing, I can dimension the height, the width, etc. So this is what you want to spend some time looking at, just making sure everything's nice and tidy. I think I want that number to be here. Right, let's go ahead with things as they are. Let's dimension this as 20. Dimension this one. I'm just trying to make sure that they are all equally spaced. Right, so that looks fine there. If you want, you can bring that number out like this. So yeah, there may be other dimensions that are missing, for instance how far that is from the edge, where exactly the circle lies. So I'll let you guys worry about. So this is how you would go for dimensioning a part. After that, it's straightforward. You may want to save this file. Once you're happy with the drawing, you can go and you can save as. And if you were to save it as a normal drawing file, there will be a connection. So if you go back in the part environment, change this number to something else, that will automatically change. It is a good feature at times, but sometimes you may want to break the link. Sometimes you may want to send this file to a person who doesn't have all of these part file, and you want him to be still able to see and understand your drawing. So sometimes it's a good idea to save it as a detached drawing instead of just a normal drawing. So if you save it as a detached drawing, that's going to break any links between the part you made and the drawings. So I think I like that particular feature because it just frees up everything else. Sometimes it's a good idea to have that link, but sometimes it's an inconvenience. So I'll let you guys choose what you want to do, but that option is there for you guys to use. Any questions, you can send me an email or you can comment on this YouTube link. I will try and add. Obviously there is more to this than this is just a general flow. Oh, for instance, yeah, I wanted to show you how to create sections. So for instance, let's just say I wanted to show how deep that circle goes, or I want to show in details of this particular so if I can show you how to create a section view. I wanted to chop the profile at that point, and that gives me a sectional view at that location. I can drop that there. That was pretty quick, wasn't it? So if I tweak the front view, just making sure everything is nicely arranged on this available space. So this is how you would go for creating a sectional view. And again, at this point, obviously I know I have dimensioned that 20 here, but I may want to reposition that to this view here. So this is how you would create sectional views. It comes with the annotation. It comes with the sectional plane there, or the cutting plane with the right arrows. I think it's a beautiful system. If you want, you can create another sectional view. There are other types of views which are broken out view or detail view. Let's see if we can create ourselves a little detail view. This works on the basis of a circle. So if I want to show off, for instance, details from this corner here, so I only just created that circle and I can drop that over here. Tell you what, I'm gonna create a detail view from the sectional view, so that's gonna be some fun. All right, draw the circle and you drop the view. you can change the scale. So it's basically a scaled up view of that particular one, particular circle. You can reposition this circle wherever it needs to go. You can resize it, so you can change the detail view as in how it's needed. So that's detailed C, as you can see. I wonder if I can reposition that C. That's there, out of the way. Let's bring it here. That's better. Right, detail C, scale 1:1. I think that's great. Right, the overall scale for this document is 1:2, but you wanted to show the details for this one, which is at higher scale. If you wanted, you can always change the scale of this view here by, don't want to select that, I want to select the view, and I hope over here somewhere we have the option, so you can go double the size, 1:1 scale. So that's how you create the detail view. I want you guys to research into how to do all of this with assembly drawing. You basically, the only change with assembly is you don't detail dimension it, but you may still want to show off the inside, so use the cutting plane and create multiple sectional views. You may want to create detail views, etc., etc. In addition to that, there is a list of parts on this in this area where you list how many parts you have, what are the part names, and what's the balloon number. So you basically use a ballooning technique. I want you to research into that. Maybe go on YouTube or go on Google and try and locate some tutorials for that. So yep, this is how you create drawings in SolidWorks 2020. At least it's not going to change for any of the future versions, I suppose. Main steps, just to summarize, is to selecting a correct sheet size. For this coursework, you are working on A3. The sheet type is ISO. After that, we edited this particular sheet to the correct format, so we added all of these details in. I downloaded this symbol from the web, which is a third angle version symbol. This is the company logo that goes there. All of this is here for you to populate. If you want to change that, you can right click and go edit sheet format, and then all of a sudden you can just type in whatever you need to type in there. I wonder if you can go and annotate and then create a little note here, and that's going to be your team name, your title of the project. So this is going to be the reverse engineering project. I'll let you choose all of these details. So that was step 2. Step 3 was bringing in the parts. It's from over here, model view, which allows you to browse to the correct file and bring in the views. Then obviously I had to select the proper views, create isometric views, reposition them so that they look nice on the piece of paper. We are using all the space effectively. I can't lower this any further because that's going to crash into the title block, so I'm going to have to leave it like that. What I could have done is, I see a lot of free space there. I could have created that over here. That's allowed. I can do that, or I can create another orthographic view from this one. I wonder if I can. Oop, right, let's not mess with this. So that's the way to go for it. Yeah, any questions, as I said, you can write to me. Make sure you are dimensioning it correctly. Make sure you set up the drafting standard to ISO, which gives us a pretty good close fit to British standards. That's all. Thanks for watching.